Well, thief, I smell you. I hear your breath. I feel your air. Where are you? Where are you?
The other secret weapon that we had for Smaug beyond his design was the fact that he is a talking dragon. We could use his personality to our advantage. And so we were looking for an actor that was not just going to sort of voice a dragon that we would imagine, a dragon would sound like. We wanted someone who actually would do something original, unexpected, something that was a surprise to us.
We both went up for it at the same time. We both kind of went on tape at the same time during the first season of Sherlock. So we both went in very early 2010. And I knew Benedict wanted to play Smaug.
Smaug was one of the characters that we cast quite early on. We were looking at some of the tapes, and a young actor called Benedict Cumberbatch actually sat down in a chair.
Well, thief, I smell you. I can hear your breath. So why don't you show yourself?
I guess my first point of call was going along to the Hubbards, which is the UK casting directors of great fame, partly because of Lord of the Rings. I mean, they got Peter, all of that cast, and I put myself on tape with Dan Hubbard. And he said, look, I don't know, I think, just do one where it's just the voice. I mean, maybe just do one off camera. This is just for Smaug to start off with. But I'd imagined that it'd be motion capture. There might be a bit of that involved. He went, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't know. And I went, well, I'd love to do a little bit. I'd love to do a little bit of action because it just helps with the voice.
You seem very familiar with my name, but I do not remember smelling one of your kind before. Who are you, and where do you come from, may I ask?
So I did a few head movements and sort of serpentine stuff with my neck and got the shoulders working a bit. And Dan went very quiet, and I went, too much. And he went, no, it was fine. I wasn't expecting it. No, that was good. Just do one off camera. So I did one off camera as well.
Oh, yes, Barrel Rider. You may walk unseen, but you did not walk all the way on your own.
We couldn't see his head. We could only hear his voice. I don't think I knew what he looked like. I just heard this voice, and it was like, oh, my God, wow, that's an incredible voice.
I ate 6 ponies last night, and I shall catch and eat all the others before long.
And then I didn't hear anything, I think, for about a year. And I got a call saying, they want you to play Smaug. Peter was like, why did you do that audition where we went on camera? We thought they hadn't framed you in, but did you do one off camera? And I was like, yeah, I did, because I was fucking told to by Dan Hubbard. He said, oh, that was strange. I said, well, I presume it's because it was at the stage where you didn't know it was going to be voiceover, so, I might ruin the chance of getting a part if you saw my fucking face.
It wasn't about what he looked like, it was about what he sounded like and what he was able to produce in a character simply by his voice. And he, knew Smaug. I mean, he understood Smaug as well as we did.
When I first met him, I said, look, I have to acknowledge here that this is going to be a second-hand performance. He went, what? Oh, my dad read it to me when I was 6 or 7, and I was really lucky. My dad's an extraordinary actor, so he brought this already very rich, magical, visionary world of hobbits and giants and trolls and living out all the parts. He completely brought them to life. His Bilbo was very good, sort of free and skittish, but sort of also grounded and homely. And then Smaug was this amazing sort of gravelly, growling creature. And so I basically ripped my dad off for my performance. I really do owe him a lot. He's getting a cut.
Benedict came in at the start of Block 3, so the start of 2012, and what a way to kick off the year. We had a couple of days of motion capture.
A little bit of that, a little bit of just...
Gotcha.
Yeah, yep. Cool.
He wanted to get inside the character. He really wanted to own it. He didn't want to just be a voice artist who came in after the fact and said the words.
You get the helmet on, and the helmet has a sort of Madonna-type headset thing, which is actually a camera which comes to here. This camera is really weird because it's right in your face. It's got a little circle of LED lights, so you're literally carrying around the actress's dream. You have your own little private keynote. It's really nice, but actually it's very, very weird. And then you kind of have to forget it. And imagine yourself into a vast creature in a huge space when you're really crawling around on a grey bit of carpet.
Benedict's choices as an actor were definitely going to affect Smaug big time. And I said, treat it like you're playing the role. Don't think you're just providing the voice. Go in there physically, get what you can out of it. There will be head turns, there will be moments from that performance that you give that can be pulled out and extrapolated and will become part of Smaug's being.
I kill wherever I please, and none can stop me.
I'm sorry.
We wanted him to have the ability to just freely explore the physicality of the character. And we could watch what he was doing as if it were a stage play.
And no doubt you purloined it for your filthy dwarf friends.
When you get to play it live, there is an element of theatre to it because you do have a whole audience, even though they're watching and listening through very, highly skilled and attuned technology. You get the feeling that you're playing to them a little bit. I had a very strong idea of what he felt and looked and would smell and move like. I really did. But whether I did that in my motion or animation of my body, I'm not sure, but I knew in my mind what I was trying to do. I played it as an internal thought of, I am this, I am that, I can do that, I can do this, but whilst my body's going and just acting out everything that I'm thinking. You have to take a very big leap of faith and just think big, really.
So technically, Benedict's first reading of Smaug on the mocap stage and in the mocap suit wasn't required. We knew that we couldn't use his body movements and actually have them drive the dragon skeleton or drive the dragon muscles, but we were interested in just unleashing his performance and use that as clues to Smaug's character.
That's genuinely really exciting. You're being a sort of draftsman, or at least trying to hint towards how it should go. And that's what Pete wanted. He wants something to stimulate them into action and getting an idea of a flavour of character.
Benedict was interested in exactly the same ideas as we were, which is to make Smaug a psychopath. Forget what he looks like, forget how big he is, forget how many teeth he's got. His personality is scary. You're talking about Jack Nicholson in The Shining, you're talking about Hannibal Lecter, it's those type of characters, and what makes them scary is they're unpredictable.
You have nice manners for a liar and a thief.
They have that absolute ability to kind of be charming on one level, and then ultimately you feel the tension and the edge, and there's moments where he can barely hold his psychotic side in as he's trying to actually get to the truth.
This is some sordid scheme hatched between them and those miserable tab-trading lake men.
It's an exhausting day. You are drenched, not necessarily because of the soup, but just because of the exertion, especially in the voice. There are lots of breaks for golem juice, as it's called. It's ginger and honey. So after a lot of roaring and scampering about, I down quantities of that and bits of sushi and other things like goat and dwarf.
I know the smell and taste of dwarf. No one better.
Can I try him on all the way through, Pete?
Good, that's good, that's great. There's some great stuff in that.
Okay. Pete said, "Oh, that's great. I think we got some great stuff there. I think that's good. Unless you want it." And I said, "Yeah, I'd like to do it all again." He went, "What the last scene? Okay." And I went, "No, all of it."
The king from under the mountain is dead. Where are the kin who dare seek revenge? I ate all his people like a wolf among sheep. I destroyed Dale. I laid low the warriors of old and instilled terror into the hearts of men. I kill wherever I please, and none shall stop me. So tell me, underling, how do you choose to die? I am fire! I am death! All must burn! Burn it must! All will turn to ash and dust!
It was great to be able to just have a run and play the whole character in one fell swoop.
That was an extraordinary creative process to witness.
These guys aren't really. They've never done this faster before.
What's going on?
They're just trying to take my clothes off. It's fine. Don't relax. It happens all the time around here.
Bit by bit, though.
Bit by bit, exactly. It's a torturous process.
That's very nice, is it?
Yeah, to inhabit it physically. And it may just be my face and it may just be my voice. I don't know what the end visualization of the dragon's going to be.
The idea that we were playing with at the beginning was that he speaks to Bilbo, but it's a telepathic conversation, so Smaug's not moving his lips.
You hear me? Few in Middle-earth possess that power.
When we did the previs pass where Smaug spoke psychically to Bilbo, it just didn't work. There was just something about it that just didn't work.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to ADR for Smaugy Smaug. This is my insistence. Please pan to the left, and you're right, and you'll see this beautiful sheepskin floor, which I insist on. I wouldn't get on a flight unless I knew I was going to be acting on this. There will be nudity. This is not your usual ADR session. Smaug likes to slither about in amongst lamb wool. And I wonder why I get into trouble. No, seriously, this is amazing. So what's happening is we're sort of laying down the last third of Smaug scenes, and then that script's going to be finalised and go off to the West Boys, and magic will happen. So basically, I'm getting all the help I can to become the worm.
What you want to do is you want to create an environment that the actor feels that he can become the animal. And so we had a little kind of stage set up.
Well, we need him on a padded surface. He wants to be on his hands and knees. We had to get him up off the ground so that it gives him a sense of playing down to the character Bilbo. The wool was the quietest thing we could put here to make it comfortable from an acoustic point of view rather than scratchy things. Yeah? There's been a few jokes about pink fluffy handcuffs, but we haven't pulled them out just yet.
We then arranged a number of mics around him, but it became obvious that Benedict was going to move. He was going to do a lot of movement. He was going to assume the dragon, and he was going to be standing up. He was going to be crouching down. He was going to be doing the whole gambit. And so a lot of work went into working out a kind of a miking arrangement, which was basically wearing one of the motion capture helmets with the mics.
This goes on top of my head, and I look quite like I've got a sort of, it's like a Coldstream Guard cap, isn't it, in miniature? But that's a brilliant microphone, so I can move my head at any angle and articulate sort of his body movements without losing any sound record. So that's very unusual. And this is layered on top of what we've already done with motion capture as a guide to how he'll look and eventually sound, because obviously there'll be some distortion to my voice because I'm not a however many 100-year-old fire-breathing worm who lives under a hill who can fly, who's very big. Getting there, but there's only so much I could do on a Sunday morning. And yeah, we're about to start, I think, so I better put on the helmet and get going.
Hey. Hello.
Of course you can.
Good. Well, I think we should start by just running that thing from yesterday a couple of times.
Yeah,
because that kind of leads you, the psychological, psychologically that leads straight into the next scene anyway. So we may as well get into that headspace, and then we can carry on to the next one.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Where would you like to go from?
It's Oakenshield, that filthy dwarvish usurper. So that's Q301.
From that spot. Standing by for take 1, 301. And here we go.
Oakenshield, that filthy dwarvish usurper. He sent you in here for the Arkenstone, didn't he? He weighed the value of your life and found it worth nothing. But it matters not. Oakenshield's quest will fail. The darkness is coming. It will spread to every corner of the land.
And cut.
Okay.
Good. I mean, for me, I mean, I know you're worried about pace, Pete, but I mean, obviously you can condense the gap between the lines. I'm just giving it enough breath to be able to give the tone of it, but because it's just like a slow to me, it's like a slow Japanese water torch. It's like, I'm just going to tell you what the truth is. I'm going to plant this little seed and watch it grow in your mind as a fit.
There's actually, this has to be shaped quite carefully. There's certainly moments where it has to be heated and movement, and there has to be a sense of movement and physicality, but then it goes back to another getting in his head bit towards the end. Well, why don't we run the next chunk? And just
great.
Just
have a look at it.
And have a look at it.
Where does it go to?
Goes well.
How do you choose to die?
Yes.
Standing by to roll. Pitch is on.
I will not part with a single coin. Not one piece of it. My teeth are swords. My claws are spears. My wings are a hurricane.
That was great.
Yeah, that's good.
My claws are spears.
Smaug had to have a personality. That was obvious, which meant he needed to have all the subtle kinds of facial expressions that we're used to seeing in a dialogue scene. And that became really tricky because of the elongated shape to his head. And we realized that a lot of that comes down to the eyes and the mouth, as it does with any other character.
The biggest challenge is bringing Benedict's performance into an alligator almost. It's a big flapping jaw with very little flexibility.
With such a big mouth, you don't need to move it too much to really get words out.
And so what we really did is kind of pushed his whole performance to the front of his face.
So it feels like the front of his mouth is sort of mimicking a human face.
He has weighed the value of your life and found it worth nothing.
Wherever we could, we tried to honour Benedict's acting cues. And what I mean by that is we would study his video and maybe he would turn his head like that, or maybe he'd sort of lift his head back and look down his nose as he's reading the line.
Lovely titles.
He had some nice sort of head moves and things like that, and tilts that were very snide, and it really helped guide it even further as far as what sort of emotion Smaug had at that given moment.
Oh, I don't think so.
When you're looking at a performance, you're looking at the minutia of the face and how it's acting and how emotions cross the face and just little fine things that a great actor will give you that you don't even notice that you're watching.
So